Okay, hello. It's about 7 o'clock, so I will get going. Pull up the comments here. All right, let's get this set up. So just in the comments, let me know if you can hear me and see me. Mic's working okay. Everybody's tuned in. Thanks for being here on a Sunday evening, guys and girls. Got about 20 folks. Somebody in the comments let me know that I'm coming through, and then I'll get going. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here this evening. I'm incredibly excited to kick off this semester. It's going to be an amazing 12 weeks of classes, of getting to know each other, of growth, of projects, portfolios. Just very excited to see what gets produced by each of you this semester. I wanted to take a little bit of time this evening, and I don't have a lot to go through, and a lot of this you'll probably already know, but just want to reiterate some of it, and then just open it up for whatever questions you might have. So welcome to summer 2015. First things first, I'm committed, the mentors are committed to making this an awesome experience for each of you. We're asking you to make this investment, to go on this journey, and we're committed to making this a great experience for each of you. And that really starts with support. So I say it all the time. It's on the website. It's in the videos. If you have any issues 24/7, please send me an email, hello@mographmentor.com. You're not bugging me. Whatever it is you need, we're here to address that and make this experience as good as possible. Next item on the agenda, the Fuse app. It's mentioned on the website, but I just want to reiterate, your live classes will take place within this web conferencing software called Fuse. So make sure that you use the link, download it, install it. If you're having any issues, let's try to figure that out in the run-up to classes. Don't try to install it on the day of. Let's get it set up. And the way that the Fuse app works is pretty simple. You will receive an email, an invite with a link, and simply by clicking on that link that your mentor sends you, it's going to launch your Fuse app and bring you into the correct Fuse room. So that's what that process is going to look like week to week. Next thing to mention is the Facebook group. If you're not already in the Facebook group, make sure that you ask for an invite, and we'll get you in there. Let's make sure we get that set up this week. The Facebook group is a good place to share things, share links, discuss things, and just generally connect and network. Dropbox, I'll mention it again. Dropbox is how we facilitate. It's sort of the school's server. If you don't have an account, get the free 2 gigabyte account. That should be plenty of space. And then just make sure that we have the appropriate email that you set up your Dropbox through so that we can share the folders with you. And we will get all that set up this week, so keep an eye out for your Dropbox invite. Within Dropbox, there's going to be 12 empty folders for your weekly deliverables, for your assignments. So when you complete your PDF presentation or your design frames or your render of your MP4 for your video, it goes into the appropriate week, whatever week of class that is. So week 1's assignment goes into week 1's folder. Another thing we're going to set up this week are invites to the Digital Tutors account. Now, Digital Tutors, if you're not familiar, is a really fantastic technical training library. Information about... Sorry, let me go back. Dana has a question. Send me your Dropbox email. Send it to hello@mographmentor.com, Dana. If you have a Dropbox email that's different from the email that we have on file for you. So Digital Tutors is technical training, and what we do in the program is we buy sort of bulk licensing that can be shared. So I believe currently we have 5 sort of roaming licenses, so 5 people at a time can be logged in to the Digital Tutors account. We've never had an issue of anyone having any wait times, but let's say that 6 people wanted to be on the Digital Tutors licenses simultaneously. What it's going to do is then put a time limit on those that are currently logged in to a 2-hour session, and then log them out and log the next person in. But if we have people waiting on Digital Tutors content, they're going to send me an email, and at that point we'll probably buy more licenses. So we've just been kind of feeling that out. To this point, we've not ever had more than 5 people simultaneously trying to use the catalog. So it's been working good so far, but that's just kind of a heads up on how that works. Another thing I would say is keep an eye out on the school calendar for weekly events, things like this, where we have an orientation. We're going to do guest speakers, we're going to do special workshops, things of that nature, and whatever that is, we're going to send you an email to remind you. But another place, if you're unsure of when something is, just look at the school calendar on the classes page of the student site, and you are going to be able to see a quick view of what's going on for the semester. So for these weekly live sessions that you're going to have with your mentor, and this is really sort of the core of the experience, or these live times, just a couple of things to say there. Number one is just come prepared. If you do not have materials prepared, if you haven't hit your deadlines, if you haven't done your pre-production or designed the frames that you needed to design, you're not going to make the most of that live time. So the first step in making those live times a success is putting in the hours throughout the week, doing the pre-production, getting your stuff ready, so that you can really make use of that live organic time with your peers and your mentor. From a technical perspective, I always like to say get there a few minutes early to test out your internet connection, make sure that Fuse is behaving well, make sure that you have headphones if need be, and that your webcam and microphone is working well. The reason I say have headphones nearby is sometimes if you're on a laptop or if it's just the right setup with speakers, you'll get a bit of a feedback loop, and just having some headphones is a good way to avoid that. In these live classes, we want you to get critique on your work, ask questions, talk about process, talk about theory, ask your mentor really anything and everything. Nothing's really off the table, and I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised just how open your mentor is going to be to share about their experiences, what's working at a studio like, all the way down to opening up Photoshop, talking about process, opening project files when they can, be understanding that they might not be able to show you the ins and outs of every project they worked on. Some things are for clients, and there can be some privacy issues there, but I think you'll find that they're really open, and they're eager for your questions. I would also say give feedback to your peers. It's kind of that nice, prepping yourself to examine other people's work too is going to make you better at sort of having an eye to evaluate your own work. So, when you're looking at someone else's pre-production, or you're looking at someone else's animation, and you have some meaningful critique, some meaningful feedback to share, don't shy away from that. We really want to encourage you guys giving each other feedback as well, because it's going to help you grow. Another thing I would say is sessions are recorded. Try to be at every single live session, but if for some reason you cannot, give your mentor a heads up, give me a heads up, and I can relay a message. But those will get recorded and then posted to the student's site, so you can view it later. Another thing I would say is, and I've said it before, you get out what you put in. We have set up this experience very similar to how an art and design school is set up, that these are not follow along classes. And I'm sure you have that sense by now that we're not going to just say, here's what we're going to make today, and we're going to tell you every button to press. We're really trying to stretch you. We're really trying to challenge your process and your eye, and your ability to dream up original concepts and execute original concepts and create a better process. And a lot of that's got to come through you kind of putting in that effort, putting in that struggle with these projects, with these creative briefs, to get that growth. Another thing that we emphasize each week is, so question, is there a time limit on the live classes? We do not have a formal time limit. Obviously we have to respect everybody's time, the mentor's time and your peers' time. So some classes will go longer than others, just depending on the week. We don't have a formal time limit, but a maximum of 3 hours, I think, is about as long as a class is going to be. And you see Ryan, he can speak to that as well. And each class is going to be different because it is pretty organic. So one thing that we really want to emphasize is that you format your deliverables correctly. We're asking you to make these PDF presentations as opposed to just, grabbing a bunch of JPEGs and throwing it in a folder. And that's not to create busy work. That's not to create extra work. There's an emphasis on that because we believe it's really important that you be competent in doing that you can communicate by sort of refining down inspiration and pre-production, putting things together in a nice coherent package that other people can understand. In this line of work, we're in an idea of business and visual sort of concepts. And a lot of times to communicate with an art director or with a client or whoever it's going to be, we really need to be able to present our ideas in a clean and clear fashion. So we have an emphasis on that. So please pay close attention, see the formatting guidelines. If you have questions about that, we can absolutely help you with that. So Dan is asking, what program do we need to be making the PDF presentations in? So go to the formatting page. There's a tutorial on that page that shows you how to grab your files and put together a PDF presentation in Adobe Illustrator. Illustrator, I think, is going to be your best bet for quickly getting things together and into a PDF format. Another thing I would say is just encourage each other. Encourage people to push their work further, to get stuff turned in, and then hold each other accountable. Sometimes that honesty can be really helpful. If people are falling behind, let's not let each other make excuses. You guys are investing your time, you're investing your money. Make the most out of this experience. So a quick note about your mentors. All of the mentors we have are just, so amazing, and they are so committed, and I have been consistently blown away, and I think a lot of our students have been blown away by the level of commitment. But at the same time, we've created a schedule, we've created a structure to try to protect their time as well, because many of them have full-time jobs, they have families, they have careers. So if you have issues during the week, your first sort of line of support is going to be me, and then our other people on the administrative team. So start with the hello@mographmentor.com email for any sort of questions or issues that you're having. If you're just looking for some feedback midweek, use that Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group. People outside the school aren't going to see it. So throw up your stills, throw up your work in progress renders, and other people are going to be in there. Mentors are going to be in there, and that's a good way to get sort of midweek feedback. So try to use the Facebook group as that resource. But if it's a specific issue, hello@mographmentor.com is your 24/7 support. So we are kicking off this semester. Class 1, your first project, and hopefully you've had a chance to get logged into the student site, see your class assignment, see your time, see your day of the week, and then had a chance to go to the individual classes page to see your week-to-week breakdown. Class 1, you're going to be starting with the Designing for a Theme project. This is a project strictly dedicated to the production of visual art, just design. You're not going to be animating what you create. You can do that later, but that's not part of this production. And week 1, you have a pre-production document due. We're asking you to come with a theme, a word list, and some inspiration. So please have that prepared for your first class so we can really make use of that first session. And make sure that you look at the classes page as well as the project description page to get more vision, more examples, and then just dig in. Use this week to really get that first proposal looking good. You're asked to make a number of PDF presentations, so it might be smart to, on this first one, give yourself sort of a template. Make sure that there's a way that you can sort of save it or save a copy that you can use week to week. Class 2, if we have any Class 2 students in here with us, you're doing some pre-production on the infographics production. So please be sure to see the Class 2 page, which is kind of acting as the handbook of week to week, and get going on that pre-production document. In Class 3, I'm not sure that Kyle Predke is here. He may be. Class 3 doesn't actually have anything that needs to be turned in for week 1. Week 1's more of a project launch, a kickoff for the big thesis animation for a cause production, but there'll be more on that. So let's see, a couple of questions here let me get to. Any past themes that did really well that stand out in your mind? Dana, I don't want to plant a seed and tell you, like, this is a good theme to pick. I honestly believe that whatever theme you pick, there's going to be interesting ways to interpret it. In my opinion, the coolest projects we've seen, the themes that people have chosen have really been all over the map. And it's really sort of up to where you want to take it. I can tell you that the most popular theme by far has been space. Everybody picks space, and that's been interpreted in wildly different ways as well. But the emphasis really is on taking an abstract theme and going through this process, going through the sketchbook, and creating multiple drafts of digital artwork. So pick something you like, pick something fun. We have Alex Mapar here. Hello, Alex. Ustreamer4175 says, could we present 2 themes? If you want to present 2 themes, you can. Just know that by the end of that class, you need to have 1 in your mind, because you're then going to move into the sketchbook. So if you want to come with 2 concepts that you're considering, I'd say that's probably okay. And Ryan can give you some more feedback as well. That's great. He says best to develop as many ideas as possible. I can walk through them. Yeah, absolutely. And that sort of goes to sort of a way that we think about pre-production too, is this sort of funneling process where things can start really broad. You can have a lot of reference in the beginning, and you begin to sort of funnel down and create a vision for what it's going to be. So let's see here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is just some of the basic information. The weekly classes, know your time and date, get the Fuse app set up. We're going to do Dropbox invites this week. We're going to do digital tutors invites this week. Get connected to the Facebook group, and then get going on these projects. Eddie Tabasco, you bet. Yeah, we can get you plugged into the Facebook group. Okay, so it's about 20 minutes of me shouting at you here. Any questions before we sign off, and then we've sort of officially kicked off the summer. Yeah, and Ryan giving you some good information in the chat here. Yeah. Yeah, we've seen some really interesting approaches to the designing for a theme. It doesn't have to be rigid. It's always interesting to see the way that people are going to take that brief and sort of run with it. So Andy says, if I have an issue with my class time, can I change it? Yeah, that's a great question. If you have an issue with your class time, and you see there's another class time that you'd like to switch into, we're gonna take care of that this week. So if you need to switch classes, send me an email today, and tomorrow morning, first thing, we're gonna do some shuffling. And I understand, you guys have schedules and commitments, and we definitely want to respect that, and just try to serve you guys as best as we can with schedules. Let's see. Is not having a Facebook a deal breaker? Oh, Dana, you're not on Facebook. I don't blame you. It's not the worst, but we'd love to have you. Maybe you could just make an account just to be in the Facebook group with us. So Zach is asking, how do we know who our mentor is? You log in to the student site and go to the classes page. Yeah, Facebook is not for everybody. I absolutely understand that. But it's just a great free sort of platform that we can leverage for our purposes here. Yeah, so Andy, you're in Shanghai. If that class time isn't, look at the other class times, and hopefully there's one that works for you there. We run on U.S. time zones, so there's really only so much we can do there. Can you expand on the Digital Tutors? So Digital Tutors is a technical training library. If you have questions about Photoshop, After Effects, Illustrator from a technical perspective, what do the buttons do perspective, that's where Digital Tutors, we buy that licensing to serve you, to help you. It's not your homework. You don't have to go watch these tutorial series. If you've already got experience in a specific software, then you don't have to do it. It's just there as a resource if you need it. That's why on sort of the week to week, it's labeled sort of relevant Digital Tutors content. We tried to put that there to help you. If you're in a design week and you have some Illustrator questions, we put some links of some really good comprehensive Illustrator tutorial series. If you need it, it's certainly not mandatory to take advantage of that. So let's see, a couple more questions. What is the dropout percentage for the different classes? Dropout percentage I have not calculated. I don't know that number off the top of my head. Certainly some people drop out after the first class. Many people take a break after the first class. So, if they take a semester off and come back and do the next one, we don't really consider them a dropout. So we keep things sort of open. But if you're asking me, does everyone who's ever joined the program go all the way through and graduate? The answer is no. Not everyone completes the program, Dennis. Uh-oh. You guys still hear me? Check. Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? I think Dana lost my audio. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to get some of the basic information about the program established. And then yeah, it's going to be a blast to jump in. You know, the Fuse platform live class can take a little bit of getting used to. You know, it's a little slower than just being in the room with other people. You can't really talk over each other as well. But I would just say bring good energy. Sometimes the classes can be several hours, so you know, bring a drink, bring a snack. You know, feel free to doodle in between if somebody else is getting some feedback. But just bring good energy and just do your best to get the most out of every live session and every interaction with your instructor, as well as taking advantage of the other things that we've tried to put in place, the digital tutors, the Facebook groups, etc. Okay, so Zach, did you not get a student site login? Yeah, if you actually just click on the classes tab, maybe you were like clicking on class 1, and I apologize if that was confusing. But you should see who your instructor is as well as the time that your class is going to be at. Yeah, no worries, yeah. Yeah, no, I figured that was probably it, Zach. UStreamer4175, 10 hours of content already. That's good, that's awesome. Okay, ladies and gents, any more questions before we go? It's Sunday evening. We have a lot of Sunday classes this semester. So let's take one more Sunday to relax before we really are using up our Sunday evenings, and then Steve Saval's doing on Monday. But I think everybody else is on Sunday, with the exception of Steve's course. I'm excited for each of you to introduce yourself, get to know your mentor. It's a really sort of special opportunity to get to know someone who's been in this industry, who's had years of experience, and can, you know, just invest in you if you're willing to put in the time, if you're willing to create things for them to see, and come with questions. How did you grow that wicked beard? Well, that's a lovely compliment. How did I grow? Just time and bourbon. That's how you grow a wicked beard. Okay, if there is any additional questions later, obviously I can't say it enough. hello@mographmentor.com. We're here as support 24/7. Whatever you need. There are no dumb questions. We don't want you to be confused. We want you to be completely set up for success with this experience. And we're here to work really, really hard to make sure that happens over these next 12 weeks. Okay, no more questions. Everybody, have a great evening. Thank you for taking some time out to attend this. We'll see you in the Facebook group. We'll see you on the student site, and I'm looking forward to an awesome semester. Thanks so much.